What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dragon's Corner, and today I got a bit of a treat for you. So I made a video a while back about just the basic FPS mining, ground mining, that kind of stuff. Well, I did with just a geo, but with the help of a viewer's comment, I put that theory to the test, and I think with that person's help, I've kind of mastered how to efficiently grab gems faster than you would with just the geo alone. So join me, won't you? But first, if you want to see more like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and leave a comment. You have any questions? Whatever, I'm open. Feel free to ask. Anyways, on with the video. So, first thing you're going to need, let's go to our inventory. You're going to want to make sure you have the biggest backpack you can get. The Pembroke right now in the game is the biggest backpack you can get. It holds basically about 1.8 SCU, I think, what it breaks down to, or not even. It's something like anyways, long story short, it is the biggest backpack you can get in the game. Now, this is up for me for personal preference. This is just in case I have to, lift my geo up or lift the rock up, because we're going to get to that, but. This here can move your geo and your rock. It moves big boxes, whatever the case may be. So I would suggest a max lift. You can get away with a multi-tool and a tractor beam. And next to that, I would recommend bringing an orbit mining attachment for your multi-tool, just in case one of your vehicles gets bugged sucking stuff up. You're going to want lots of water, because you're probably going to be out for a while, or even bedlogging. Like if I decide to do serious gem mining, I bedlog right on the planet where I'm at. And of course, I got my parallax ammo, because I need a little bit just in case someone happens to go to a little thing, and I got LH86 ammo. The reason why I don't have anything in my backpack is because the backpack is going to be used to carry all my stuff when I move stuff across. Sort of my helmet, so I just drink some water. But I want to keep an empty backpack for this. So you can do this with any size backpack, but your heavy backpack, your Nausicaa, have 120,000 micro SCU. The one that comes with this armor set, it's got 150. I just prefer the Pembroke just because it's the biggest backpack in the game. And next to that, what else do we need? Well, you need your geo. And the reason why you need your geo is the rock. You're also going to need a rock too. The geo breaks the stuff a lot easier. It doesn't get caught on anything. And you can literally, like your Spider-Man with this, so you can scale walls, vertical, knock the gems down, pick them up. You can still suck them up and everything with the geo just fine, just it takes a lot longer. Why? Because these little boxes in it, which I recommend you carry a couple of extra, just in case, because they do bug out. They only carry 1/8 of an SCU or 100 gems for the femoline, which is kind of what we look for in here. And then you got the rock. So the rock is great on flat surfaces, relatively flat surfaces, but the reason why I bring the rock is because it holds 1.2 SCU of gems. So instead of having to get in and out of the geo 3 or 4 times to fill your backpack and empty your backpack and empty that kind of stuff per thing, you break it with the geo, and then you drive out with the rock and suck it all up, and then you just offload it into there. Then next to that, you're going to need a cargo container. I run with an 8 SCU, because generally when I do gem mining, I'm out for a couple of days, and like I say, bedlog. And so you could, by the time we do 4 to 6 SCU, I'm kind of done with it for a while. But that's just what I do. And it's handy because you can pull your geo rock right in, boop, 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 and then you're just all right there. It's easy to do. I have yet to have the rock bags bug out on me, so I used to bring 1 or 2 extras, because you can change those out now. But the geo boxes do bug out once in a while, so that's why I always bring a couple extra. And last but not least, you're going to be a ship big enough to carry both. I have the Starlancer Max bought in game, but your Zeus CL will do it. Spirit, your Cuddy Black would be a bit of a tight fit, but you can do it, because it just fits just the rock alone. But then you're moving the rock out to bring the geo out every time. Connie Taurus, Connie Andromeda, probably the Freelancer might do it too. I haven't trusted it, but point being, You need a bit to set up to do this, but if you can do this, you can pick up easily 2 to 3 SCU of gems in an hour, which that's about 1.5 million, give or take, of femeline if you sell it at the stations. No, 350k. Yeah, well, 1.3-ish million. And yeah, so for the locations, I'm going to give you a tool, regolith.rocks, and then it'll bring up a whole other thing. But this here is your ultimate guide for your mining tools, for your whether you're ship mining, gem mining, whatever. So specifically working for the rock/FPS, and then they have all of the minerals and gems listed in least valuable to most valuable. These 3 here are from the Hathor sites, so you know those they're easy to find if you can manage to hijack a hole, of course. And then they have percentages. So they start off in Stanton. It's okay. I mean, Stanton, honestly, like, you know, Hadnite, I have yet to find Hadnite in this patch. So I haven't even really bothered with Stanton, especially with how the stuff gets is breaking with this 4.1 patch. But this is why I'm giving you this tool. So you could go across, you could go to Stanton, and you get 21%, you know, 3% for that. But here's where the real money is. Don't even bother with Stanton. Just go straight to Pyro. Straight to Pyro. Don't even waste your time. Because I prefer to go to Fugo here, because you got just 98% chance of finding femeline. However, you see here Pyro 5, you got 2% Jadenite, 4% Hadnite, 89% femeline. This would probably be your best bet because you have a chance of getting these ones. Well, you have a chance of getting some older ones here too. But I can tell you from experience, Fugo, every time, 100% of them, like you get the femeline, which is kind of what you want. What you want is your easy one to get. But this tool here will stay relatively updated with everything that you can possibly want with your mining, with your gem locations, rock locations, everything. So learn how to use this tool if you're a miner. Anyways, let me kind of show you the difference between loading up, like how I kind of run it, and then versus just like say using just the geo or just the rock. And you'll see why I use both. So just in case you didn't watch the first video or any of my mining videos really, what I always do is I always take one of the OM points and go down. It takes a little longer, but if you go like OM1 or OM2, you always have sunlight, and nobody really takes the time to go down to the OM points. Next to that, if you like, there's like on Bloom and a few other locations that I go with my mole for planet side mining and Pyro. Yes, Pyro is the best for mining. I don't care what anybody says, has most resources. I mean, at the time of this video, but use regolith.rocks to make that determination otherwise. But regardless where you go, if you go to a POI, you know, a place you can jump to, you'll want to go 50, 60, 100 kilometers out from it before you start mining. So that way there, you know, because you do give off quite a large signature when you are trying to mine, specifically with the mole. I think the mole gets picked up like 50k out, but this way here, you know, people have to deliberately go out of their way to find you rather than try taking like an attack of opportunity. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind too when you're doing this. And you know, you'll find ways to work with this. And don't be afraid to ask questions, either myself or there's a great mining community out there. Join my Discord if you want to like actually mine with me. A couple other miners too. But yeah, that's kind of the way to be safe with this. Once I get down there and once I find a couple of patches, I'll give you some examples of where the rock's better and where the geo is better. So we are on Pyro 4. And there are our rocks, what we're looking for. We're on a fairly smooth surface, so what we'll do is 2 things. I will show you, first of all, how the rock likes to get caught up on stuff. And in a scenario like this is where the rock's it'll both shine and be the biggest pain in the ass at the same time. because it is a fairly flat surface, which is what we're looking for. But I'll come back when I pop a couple of rocks and I'll show you why it is a pain in the ass. Why it gets caught up on stuff. And then I'll bring the geo out and I'll show you why the geo is good for breaking stuff up. Anyways, I'll be back in a couple of minutes and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I broke a couple of rocks. I got all my feblane here, which we'll pick up when we're all done breaking it. But you see these little nubs here? Watch what happens when you try and drive over them with a rock. You bounce around, you get stuck, right? So this is where the rock doesn't do well in, because it gets caught up, it gets stuck. It's not it doesn't do what it's supposed to do as a ground vehicle. Now, I'll go get this geo and I'll show you who gets stuck here and not get stuck, and reason why I break stuff up with the geo, but then also the disadvantage of the geo with that small storage and what you have to do with that. Okay, so now we're in the geo. So the geo, in my opinion, is far more mobile and move around, like it just moves around better than the rock does. Because A, you got jump jets, and B, watch, it doesn't get stuck. So this is why I break with the geo, and then I'll come back with the rock and I'll suck it up. But once I get a couple of rocks broken, I'll show you why the geo is good for picking stuff up when you're up on a steep hill, when you need to climb. For breaking rocks, it doesn't get stuck, but then the rock does better for sucking it up because it's got a larger storage. Un momento, por favor. So let's show you the key differences between the geo and the rock, which is why I say they work good in tandem. So the geo, you can move around, it has more mobility, you can scale hills, but just watch as I fill it up. It doesn't take much to fill it up, and like it's a trade-off, right? It's designed to be highly maneuverable, give you lots of capability to get rocks in places where you normally wouldn't be able to get it. This is just a very flat thing, but you see how I'm picking up very little, and this bar down here is filling up very fast, and that's because you only got 1/8 SCU storage versus 1.2 SCU storage. But it takes time. So the geo has the advantage of mobility, be able to scale hills. In my opinion, I always use it to break rocks because it's just easier. But you know, it just adds a lot of extra time with getting out of it, which I'll show you in a second. And then like putting stuff in your backpack and then coming in and filling it back up again. So it only holds 100 of these. See how now it says it's full? So now what you have to do, it takes 15-20 seconds to get to the animation. Gotta come back here, open the back, pull it out, and then bring this over to your backpack. And close it. And get back in. All right, now we come here. And then we keep sucking up, and then you'll see. Now, this is what I was saying. You need a bigger backpack if you're going to do this, so that you're not moving things as much. You're not having to do as many trips back and forth. And like I said, this is what I typically do in running the geo, which is okay, because the geo fits in things like the cutter. I believe it fits in the Titan. I haven't tested it, so I don't own a Titan, but just based off size, I'd imagine it would. So the geo, if you had to have just one, that's the way you want to go, because you have more versatility out of it. But if you have room for the two, and so here, like with this patch here, I'm trying to show you the process of what you got to go through when you're working with a geo, specifically just with a geo, because it is a bit of a pain in the ass to deal with. So now we're full again. But this, if you have a big backpack, this is what you can do. You can get out, come back over here. So I know I can fit 180 of these gems in here. So what I can do is I can come here, split this into, that's 107, so 73. Bring this over. Put that there. Now, my backpack's fully full. My geo still isn't quite full. Get back in it again. Let me suck it up. And then what we do is we fill the geo one more time. And then instead of being able to carry like 300 and basically carry 2 or 3 deposits worth of stuff in a single run like we can with the rock, which I don't recommend you do because that's quite the risk. We can only carry 280, give or take, and change. So now we're full again, but I know my backpack's full. And so that's just one load with the geo. So you got to take the time. You got to come down over here. You got to drop it in. But, you know, it's respectable. If you have a cutter or a smaller ship, this is the way you got to do it. And this is the way I did it when the geo first came out, and I loved it. It was a fantastic time. But then I had a viewer comment, I've been using the rock and the geo in tandem more or less. He wanted a bit more detail. And I see why he was right. So that we just got 284 rocks. We're going to just finish the rest of this patch up with the geo, just so you get an idea. And then what I'll do after this, I'll show you what it looks like when you're sucking up a rock or a patch with the rock after you break it next time around. But you get the idea how much time it takes. Anyways, I'll finish sucking this up, go and find another patch, break it up, and then we'll suck it up with a rock, and I'll be back. So we found another rock batch, and it's been broken. I am in my rock, and there's also another thing that happened too. The reason why I like the geo over the rock for mobility, but that's also why I bring a max lift. And that's my ramp with the way the hill is here. It doesn't quite touch, and you won't be able to get the rock back up it, I don't think. But you can lift with a max lift. But anyways, so you see here how we have 120 CSCU. In the geo, we had 10 CSCU. So you can imagine why I say use these two in tandem. Because these two here in tandem, like the rock, you'll be able to suck up literally 3 or 4 packs at once. And it sucks it up a lot quicker and a lot less buggy than the geo does, because the geo, if you suck up too many at once, it like jams up the arm, and then you got to use the like your little orbit mining tool to pull them off, or pull them off and store them by hand. But you can see how this will, if you use the geo to break it, because I use even though it's a relatively flat surface, I kept getting stuck on all the rocks with the rock, just to, prove the point yet again to myself. Yeah, Like you see here, I'm just going. Like there, we're at one point now where we would have had to get out and put the stuff into our bag. And we keep getting stuck in all the rocks here, but that's okay. You see how I keep getting stuck? This is why I say the geo, if well, you know, when it becomes available in game, is a good tool to have for breaking stuff up and dealing with stuff on like mountains and hills. Because Femeline and Had Knight, they like to spawn on the side of hills. It just so happens where I am here on Pyro 4, everything is a giant big rolling hill. But yeah, now you see now we're approaching what would be now getting out twice without having to actually get out. So you'd see the advantage of using both in tandem for the appropriate situation. If you have the in-game funds or the wallet, depending on your play style, to do this, because this here using this will exponentially increase how quickly you can suck up stones and how quickly you can take care of business in that aspect, because you're not getting out. And now, yeah, sure, I could drive around, and this is where like the geo would excel in running back and forth, picking up your individual rocks. But yeah, so then now let's see. There's my geo. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it up. Yeah, it's gonna be too high. Unless they fixed it. I doubt they did though. It's trying. Oh. Okay, well, color me pink. You can't get up there. Okay. I stand corrected. But traditionally though, it's always a good idea to bring a max lift when you do that. So that way there, in the event that you happen to put it in a spot that it gets a little difficult, you can just toss it up onto your ship. But now what we're going to do is we're going to open up our bag and open, no. We want to open storage. And see, in a single suck up run, we got 255 rocks versus doing 100 at a time and going from there. Just drop them over. Come back over. See, now this is so much easier because you're only emptying it once. And it just makes the whole process a lot more streamlined. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that like button, and feel free to leave any comments down below. I'll link appropriate video suggestions like the basic ground mining and scanning, that kind of stuff, throughout the video where it's appropriate. But thanks for watching. I hope this kind of gives you an idea of the advantages and disadvantages of both systems for it, and how when you put them together, they work really well. Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you guys later.